Okay, we are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with co-hosts Andrea Kay and Urban Miaris, and we have our next guest with us, Miss Dawn Parks from the Wild Thyme Company. Welcome, Dawn.
Hi.
So Wild Thyme Company, I'll bet you get a lot of different comments about the name. So you better tell us what you do.
Oh, yes, we're a catering and event company. Yeah.
Okay. So
Time spelled in Thyme.
That's
exactly.
Right. That's
Little
right.
pun there for the
Okay.
listeners.
Thank you for catching me there,
Yeah.
Andrea. Okay, so you're a catering company. What type of catering do you focus on? Tell us a little bit about what you do, what you specialize in, and more about you.
Well, we definitely are a food-focused company that caters to lots and lots of weddings in San Diego County, and we do a lot of corporate business. We're not we do everything from actually box lunches to big galas for nonprofit and charities and things like that. And we really focus on handcrafted food. We make everything from scratch,
Okay.
and really
Everything from scratch.
Yes.
Wow, that's got to be quite a job.
It is. Sometimes daunting, but
it's nice to hear that. Not the buy a Costco heat and serve catering
Right.
company,
And it's I like to consider myself like a home frustrated pastry chef because I love to bake, and I can't imagine how you and baking is kind of like chemistry. So I don't know how you take a recipe or like a cake, because you got to have the measurements exact, and how you then take a recipe for making a cake and make it so that it can serve 40.
Well,
you know what I mean? I don't know how you do that.
There's software that helps to scale recipes
Oh.
for us that we use, but like I'm not a baker either. I have a baker at the shop.
Okay.
I think people are either sweet or savory cooks. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely a savory cook.
So do you also then have to use some kind of software to help you take a beef recipe or something and try to expand it? I mean, how do you serve high quality food in large quantities like that to people? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I think, after doing this for 10 years, I've definitely come up with formulas. The chefs have formulas and for how many ounces per person, and you just do the math, and which things are more popular for, say, on like a buffet, or, how much people are going to eat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's ways to figure it out. We don't really use a computer for that or software or anything. It's just kind of like instinct
experience
and math, simple math.
Well, it looks like you've got a little bit of technology running in your business too. You have. I see you do. You pride yourself on quick turnaround, which means you have a lot of planning that goes beforehand.
Yes, absolutely. We do pride ourselves on getting back to the clients very quickly with a quality proposal that has the end price. A lot of times in catering, there's a lot of surprise at the end where people get a quote, and they'll find a bunch of different fees and things at the end, whether it be for labor or service charges or whatever. And we try to put everything in our proposal so that there's no surprises for people.
It's got to be tough because your average customer can't say, this is exactly what I want, I know what I want, and that's the beginning and the end of it. Everything changes along the way, doesn't it?
It does, and we usually try to give people their dream on paper first, and then they can kind of decide what to cut out on their own. But we want to be able to also put ourselves forward and do the best thing for them that we can do. So we try to show them the bigger possibilities, and usually we find a way to work with everybody's budget to make sure that we can make their event special. This catering is a very emotional decision. We're catering very important days in people's lives. So,
how long have you been doing it?
We'll be 10 years old in February.
10 years old.
Yes.
So.
Now, I asked you before the show, why catering as opposed to being a restaurateur?
Right. Well, I worked in restaurants for quite a few years before I started Wild Thyme, and every day was kind of the same. I was making the same dishes. I was doing the same prep work. I was, sometimes the same customers. While I do miss the part of having the same customers that I see a lot of times, with catering, every day is kind of like a different adventure. I'm going out to different venues. I'm going out to some of the most beautiful homes in San Diego. I'm going to cater in Balboa Park or at the San Diego Polo Grounds. Like I get to see so much more this way.
Wow. So, and you have quite an organic, you have quite a family orientation there. So tell us a little bit about the people that work for you.
I have a really great staff. A lot of them have been with me for a long time, and
You know what I like? I said, "Tell me about your people," and you saw her face light up.
I
You can't
know.
see that on radio, but we can see it here.
oh,
So I'm
I
sorry. Go
know.
ahead.
it's okay. No, we have fun at work. Sometimes we always talk that we should have a reality show, because it's just puts the cameras in the corner of the room and just watch everybody work and just the interaction between all the employees. It's really fun. We try to, it's also very grueling hard work, and so we try to have as much fun as we can along the way.
Okay. Well, we won't get you in trouble and ask you who your favorite employee is. Okay.
What's your favorite type of event? I mean, weddings are can be stressful. Is that? But it's so emotional and it's such a magical day.
Yeah.
Or is it like a fun, corporate, Christmas party or New Year's Eve party? I mean, what just really is fun for you?
Well, I love weddings. I love, the process leading up to it. There are longer process. For
Right.
corporate parties, they're usually the call. They know exactly what they want.
Hmm.
And with weddings, it's like a year out. There's 100 emails, dealing, and it's a longer day. But the whole process behind it, making people have such a memorable day is very important. But I also do all the concessions at the San Diego Polo Club.
Well,
Oh.
So that's really fun too. It's a great day on Sundays to go out and be outside on the fields
I bet.
and it's
so
a lot
you're
of
out
fun.
there. You yourself are out there on the polo fields with it.
Well,
polo
ponies. I have gotten onto one of the horses before, just for fun.
Oh dear.
But no, every Sunday, Wild Thyme is out there serving the food for the San Diego Polo Club through September.
What
Wow.
do you have a set menu for that, or
We do.
what do you serve with that?
It's kind of like high-end concessions. So,
Okay.
we have sliders and hot dogs and things like that, but we
Oh.
also do like roasted beet caprese salad, and we do
Wow.
Vietnamese spring rolls and
Wow.
really, really gorgeous cheese trays.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really fun.
Uh-oh.
Fresh baked dessert.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I'm
I
getting
guess
hungry.
this summer my daughter is a big equestrian lover. We
Yeah.
just finished up at the Del Mar Fair and she got
Oh,
a bunch
yeah.
of ribbons there. So when we're over at Horse Park, I'll just have to run across the street and come
Yeah, you'll have to come over there for sure.
Now getting back.
Every business has a customer and event from hell.
Ah,
All right,
you
let's
read
give-
my
give it
mind,
to Urban.
Urban.
There he
Uh-oh.
was.
Urban
Bring
wants-
it out. Let's
Urban
go
wants to hear-
confession time.
He wants to hear about the bridezillas.
You know what? I haven't had that many bridezillas. Maybe a couple momzillas.
Momzilla.
You know who's paying for the wedding is
Yeah.
the moms and the dads of the world. So that might be,
I used to be in the catering business and restaurant business, and I remember one time years ago, we set up at a person's home. They're having a big party, and they let us in and everything. It was the wrong house.
oh my gosh.
We're all set up, ready to go, and wondering where everybody is. And it was a house on the same street, but
And they
whoever
just
took
let
the
you
assignment
set
to
up
the
in
wrong house.
there?
I remember that vividly.
That's
dear.
crazy.
Oh boy, putting
Thankfully,
out
that's never
sterno
happened
and,
to me.
it was a day from hell. I'll tell you.
So, well, you're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, with my co-host, Andrea Kay and Urban Miaris. And our guest is Dawn Parks from the Wild Thyme Company. I love that name. So,
I know, it's so
but
fun.
it just you must have a bunch of crazy stories about people getting their credit card bills with the Wild Thyme on there, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
47 employees, that's a really large company to have to manage. So, on top of having to be a great chef and coming up with great food and working with the clients, you also have a lot of people that you got to keep happy and keep motivated and manage.
Yeah.
What would you say is the toughest challenge for you as a business owner?
Well, I think the challenge for me through the years was definitely making the transition from feeling like I was an employee in the business to actually being the owner of a business. And to be quite honest, it's been a couple years since I've been actually able to be in the kitchen and cooking because I have to manage all the people and the logistics of the company. And so that was my biggest challenge, was going from cooking and being a chef to actually being an owner, which is
going
very
from
different.
cook to office manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But
Now,
my hat's off to you.
Oh,
47
absolutely.
employees. That's a busy schedule.
Yeah.
yeah, and are plans for continued expansion? I mean, if you get a whole lot bigger, you might not. Again, you might be back not cooking and just still managing. I mean, what are your thoughts in terms of 5 years from now? What are we going to hear about you guys? What are you going to be doing?
I definitely see us growing. We're in a major growth pattern right now. So, it just depends on the market too, and where San Diego keeps going. And
Hmm.
we try to stay very involved in the community. And most of our marketing dollars are spent in donations to charities and things like that. So,
Wow.
Wow, that's
How big a
interesting.
market area do you serve?
we go all the way to like Fallbrook and Carlsbad. I've worked a few times in Los Angeles and Orange County, but don't always like to go that far.
Those have to be the big
Yeah,
events.
and then usually down to downtown area.
Okay.
But out to Julian, there's a lot of like wedding venues out in the
Oh,
east
it's
as
so
well.
lovely out there.
Mostly in the county though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Great.
How much, on average, on a job of food you have left over? And I know the employees take it home and all that, but is there always excess that you give to the charity or an organization? Or I know you
Well,
have to be very careful with the health department what
you
you give
do.
out and all.
Yeah, there's very strict rules about that, but because we have trained our employees pretty well on how to handle leftover food, I'm actually a board member for Just Call Us Volunteers, and they feed homeless veterans and families.
Oh,
Wow.
wonderful.
And so we usually, if there's something that can be reused or that's safely, stored properly, we try to save everything for them, and we make things into, different healthy soups for them that they can put in the freezer for the next time they serve at a shelter or things like that.
Fantastic.
So
That's awesome. I see you do some work with Meals on Wheels too.
yeah, every year we there's a lot of charities that we do, like there's food stations at these big events and
Right.
things. So we do a lot of work with the charities, whichever ones we can, to help out and donate food at their events when they're doing their fundraising.
When do you sleep? I mean, and you have a daughter too, don't
Yes.
you? How old is she?
She's 12.
She's 12. Oh,
Wow.
she's a tween.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Watch out what you say.
oh yeah.
I got the
There
14
you
and
know,
16.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh.
I'll call you and give them advice.
Yeah. Well, I can. Yeah, I guess I'm just barely ahead of you, so I can help you out
Yeah.
there.
Of all the foods you cook, the variety, you'll do practically anything. Which one is your favorite? Which one do you find not only because of taste, but easiest to put out, whether it be a barbecue or just the basic sandwiches in a box?
Um, well, the one that I enjoy the most is doing like the plated dinners and things where you still get to serve food on a plate and make it look artistic and delicious and how it's supposed to look versus like putting food into a buffet pan.
How can you make the plates look artistic? You go into a restaurant, they do one at a time, and you're doing 100 at a time, whatever it is. How can you do that?
Well, we have enough chefs on site that, everybody has their job as the food goes down to be plated. So one person would plate one part of the dish, and then it gets passed down, and the next person plates another part of the dish, so that by the time it goes out to the table, it's been put together by several people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and you do a lot of corporate events. I see you've done 89 weddings. Was that this year already?
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
The one thing we do that I didn't really get a chance to tell you about is we do this corporate team building where we bring people into our kitchen after hours at nighttime and create cooking challenges for them. So like a lot of corporate teams will come in, or wedding rehearsal parties will come in, and we give them like baskets of food to prepare.
Kind of like Chopped?
It's like Chopped.
Okay, fun.
Yeah, it's like Chopped, but without probably the super crazy ingredient, because we want them to actually sit down and enjoy.
You want it to be
meal
edible?
afterwards.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you know what we need to do is
What?
we need to go talk to Miss Matalucci and have her come in and do one of these events.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe
yeah,
we
we'll
could
tell
even
her.
maybe we can even take the show on location over there
Oh, that
and
would be
have it videoed. We could make a good
That would be
production out of
that's
that.
an awesome idea. So, have you ever sat down with a bride and where she wanted something unseasoned, unflavorful, that menu's just going to be something you didn't really feel like you wanted to hang your hat on and represent you? How do you handle that? And has it happened, and what did you do?
There are times when that happens. And I think that you have to remember who you are and just say, you know what, we might not be a good fit for you.
Wow, good for you.
And recommend somebody that might be able to handle.
Somebody who serves tasteless food.
Thanks, Andrea.
I'm sure there are some caterers out there who do.
There's
I'm
certain times
teasing,
where
but-
we've had clients want us to put a bottle of ketchup in front of everybody's plate, or whatever. That's their own choice, as long as we can put together something for them. But it is really about making the customer happy, and we try to do that. But we do have to set and stay with our own standards.
Right.
Yeah.
Too many people get into the catering business and the food service business in general because they can cook at home and they've done a Thanksgiving for 15 people or 30 people. It's completely different. Catering, especially, it's not only an art, it's a science. And people who jump into the business because they're a good cook quickly learn that. That's why the food service business tends to have so many failures, is because people are not experienced in the business side of it.
Yes.
Just because you're a good cook doesn't mean you'll make it
pretty
in the food service
complicated.
business.
Yeah, and you've had to weather, you've been in business now. You made it through the 2008, economic downturn, and yet you still got almost 50 employees. I mean,
How did
how'd
you
do it?
get past the downturn? Because I have some other catering clients that struggled mightily.
We did
at that
struggle.
point.
We downsized. We had to, adjust people's pay rates and do things just to make it through. But, the one thing that never went away through that time was people still got married.
Ah.
So no
Interesting.
matter how bad things get, people will still celebrate marriages, which really, really helped because all of our corporate business died during that time. So
Yeah, but now it's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
See,
I
people
like
are
the
still on a
happy-
budget. I think they haven't really gotten over that they can still say they're on a budget,
Yeah, I like the happy times.
Right.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't come up with an idea for the big divorce parties now, but that's besides the point.
Hey. What about big things coming? I know San Diego's wanting to get back more tourism and more stuff going on at the convention center. Do you ever do, events, that are really like Comic-Con and those kinds of things?
We don't, we don't cater at the convention center because they have their own in-house catering
Oh,
department.
okay. I didn't know
But
that.
we do parties like at the venues that are hosting for other companies within Comic-Con, for instance.
Okay.
So we, we've done parties at the Reuben H. Fleet Science Center for Comic-Con, New Children's Museum. We cater for YouTube at another venue downtown. So they have people going to Comic-Con that will be going to different parties throughout the weekend.
Gotcha.
And a lot of times we'll be, because we are a preferred partner at almost all of the museums and bigger venues around town.
How did you make that happen with virtually no marketing budget to where all your marketing dollars are spent just through donations? I mean, that's amazing to me.
Word of mouth and referrals, and
Well,
you got to be banging out some yummy food to have built this
Yeah,
with
you
no
know what's
marketing.
amazing to me?
What?
Okay, and this is something that Dawn and I can grasp a lot easier.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
she's come through a recession.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's built a company with 47 employees. She keeps her employees, close to the vest and keeps them a long time. And she's done it while raising a child who's now 12 years old. Raising the child through that is one of the greatest accomplishments.
It is, because I got a new puppy, and it's like I get 10 a day, and I'm like, are you kidding me, Bo?
Oh,
You got to
God.
go out again?
Okay, here's the most important
Where's
question
the puppy
of the day.
diapers?
Can you do an event with dog food so we can bring the puppies together?
I have 3 dogs, 2 chickens, and a cat.
Oh, I love it. See, she's an animal lover too.
That's the second person in the last week that I found that has chickens at home. My best friend up in Menifee has chickens in his backyard. I'm saying, wow.
Oh, I would love to have chickens.
It's
if I
great.
could do a
Fresh
coop,
eggs
oh,
every
that would be
morning.
amazing.
Okay, well, I can get you all the chicken feed you want for next to nothing. Believe me.
Nothing
So-
like fresh eggs.
So,
All right.
So,
well, we're going to have to wrap it up here in a few
oh,
minutes.
Okay. So let's go right into telling our listeners how they can get a hold of you, how they get more information.
Well, the best way to get a hold of us is probably through our website. It's thewildthymecompany.com, and that's thyme like the herb, THYME, and it's company all spelled out. There is another Wild Thyme Catering in the Northern California area, so we like to not confuse ourselves with them. And also our Facebook page, the Wild Thyme Company, has tons and tons of really fun pictures, so you can see our work.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how you can get in touch with us.
Any event that's too big or too small? Any parameters you want to share?
And we do have some minimums, but I mean, we've done sit-down dinners for 10 people before. Just depends on the time of year and what people are looking for.
Ever do a crawfish bowl?
I have not personally done that, but I guarantee that we could.
Oh, now you're talking. We'll talk offline about that, Miss Dawn Park.
I think you got a new neighbor getting ready to move in here. So
Wonderful.
Okay, well, let me reiterate. The name of the company is the Wild Thyme Company. THEWILD THYMECOMPANY.com. So all spelled out. So anyway, anything you want to leave our listeners with before we wrap up?
Come on out to San Diego Polo Fields on Sundays and enjoy the day and the sunshine. Watch the ponies run by.
Well, that's great.
What time is that?
Gates open at 12:30.
Okay.
12 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 12:30 to 5.
How long does that run? Do you know?
Until September.
September.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll have the fair and the polo grounds
and then the races.
Yeah, and I would recommend everybody park at the Torrey Pines and take the bus over. Okay.
Good idea.
Oh, good tip.
Yeah. Well, I live there, so.
Well, yeah, you would know.
But anyway, okay. So that's coming close to the end of our time. Urban, anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, no, I'm just excited about the guest today. It was quite a variety, and it's just great. I love catering, having been in that business, so it's just exciting.
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. We have some nice gifts from our sponsors, from Fresh Healthy Vending, Spark Health, and Avita and Detour. So thank you for being on our show. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. This is financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We will be back next week with some new guests and a lot more fun. So in closing, I'll just say, stay awesome, San Diego. We'll see you next week.